Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. Where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. I am your host, Julian J. Luke. All right, the owner of the Passion Is Network. Man, you can go ahead and go to www.realtalkthattalk.com and you can pick up all of our Talk That Talk merchandise. And guess what? You can get 30% off your purchase. All you got to do is type in HBCU band. And hey, we'll get it for you. Also, we're trying out a new platform today, and I really like this platform so far. We're gonna see how well it holds up. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get ready for the news. So, boom, there we go. Oh, look at that. Oh, we got some new stuff today. Man, we just upgrading. So I'm gonna be very, very honest with you guys. I'm sorry. This past weekend, was really disturbing for me. And I'm gonna tell you why. It seemed very weird. I mean, we had Norfolk and Hampton, which for, anybody who's in the MEAC, that's like a really big thing. The Battle of the Bay, that really didn't seem like the Battle of the Bay. It didn't, to me, just the energy was just different. It didn't seem like the energy was the same through all of the, what's the word I'm looking for here? Social media, all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't the same. And then we also had a Boombox Classic that didn't feel like Boombox Classic. Like usually my timeline would be going crazy with people talking about they win and so on and so forth. And it just wasn't the same. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm seeing something that, or feeling something that obviously, nobody else is feeling. But we gonna go ahead and talk about it because, I mean, that's what we just gonna do. We're gonna do that right here on the update. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start with Southern and Jackson. Now, I know that that's going to be the one that everybody wants to hear my thoughts, hear my perspective, so on and so forth. But the first thing I'm going to say is shout out to Showtime Web for the clips for Southern and Jackson. They were the first ones. He was the first one to put that up. He was really good. Shout out to Showtime Web for all the video that you provided. Let me go ahead and start the show like this. And will not part of the group thing, which means that I'll be thinking like everybody else, and I'm not going to. So I just want to prepare you for that all the time, off the rip. I just want to go ahead and just prepare you. All right. So without further ado, everybody saying this is playing. I don't know how it's playing. Oh well. Anyway, I don't know how it's playing over here. It says it's muted, but I thank everybody for saying that. It was playing. I'm just gonna keep the thingy up. But anyway, so yeah. So as I was saying though, I'm just not a groupthink person, and I'm not gonna put it that way. And I'm gonna let you know right now. I listened to Southern and Jackson, and there's only so many minor chords you're gonna give me for a song, bro. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm tired of hearing minor chord music. Are we searching for minor chord music? Like, is that the thing that we're searching for now? Like, when we're looking up songs and songs to play, or is that really just the only music that's out right now? I mean, I'm not even talking about whether they were good or bad right now. We're not even on that. I'm just tired of minor chord music. So let's get to something different. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, On top of that, I want to say Southern played one song that had this little trombone lick daddy in it. And to be quite honest, that was probably the best thing that I heard out of the zero quarter. Outside of that, I mean, it's only so many minor chords and out louding that you're going to do until, you know, for me, I needed something that provided variety out of the zero quarter, and it just didn't give it to me. Now we can go into halftime. I'm gonna be honest. Was it just me, or did Jackson's halftime seem super short? I felt like it was super short. So I just really felt like I really liked their drill. I thought their drill was nice. Obviously I'm a J5 fan, so I think J5 did a great job. But I will say that for me, I felt like Jackson State's show was a little short. And then Southern show, I really liked the What's Love Got to Do With It. I thought that was really good. But I mean, from a drill perspective, it was a Southern drill. I know they started out with the jukebox, and they did the down bottom. Was it down? Not down bottom. I can't remember the name of the song right now. But nonetheless, I'm sorry. It just the for the most part, the drills left much to be desired. There just wasn't a lot that, in my personal opinion, that I felt like it was a lot coming from the drill that warranted a lot. I mean, like, let's be real. I was listening and looking at the fans, and the fans didn't even seem that excited. And I could be wrong. Please, anybody who was there, please tell me up in the chat if that's the truth. But from what I could see, I just feel like the fans weren't even excited from the halftime performance, specifically from Southern, not necessarily from Jackson. So as we get on to the fifth, here we go again, the minor chords. Now, outside of that, they started the fifth. Southern played the EWF Daddy. What's it called? Magic Mind. So Southern started that out, and then Jackson played. I think it was something from Shaka Khan. I can't remember directly what it was. But here's my problem with that. My problem with that is this. You could tell that they weren't, as a band on both sides, prepared for either song. There were inconsistencies. You can tell it was some kids who just didn't know it. The energy in both songs was just not the same until they cranked up them rap daddies. Now, my problem with this is we have created a society of musicians and things like that where we don't want to play any variety. The students don't want to play anything that's other than a rap daddy. Anything that's other than doubling parts, anything like that, it's all of a sudden like it's not that great. It's not going to be performed as great as it should be. The same energy that you put in them rap daddies is the same energy you should have put in them first two. And that's just my personal opinion. At the end of the day, well, and then on top of that, let's also talk about arrangement styles. Those two songs were arranged a lot differently than what it was all your other songs, all your other rap songs, and so on and so forth. But then that also gives room for you to be a little bit more musical. There were parts where the mellophones could have been singing their parts, meaning their parts could have been flowing through in and out of the texture, so on and so forth, and it just kind of was stagnant. And my thing is, again, where are we going as far as musicians and music education and so on and so forth? What are we presenting to the masses out there? Are we really just telling them the best that we can do is cranking it up? That's really what I'm asking. And this is not a slight or shot at Southern and Jackson. This is just the best example that I've seen. And the reason why that is because when you go to the Norfolk and Hampton thing, there really isn't a lot of clips out there. I saw Norfolk show, and then shout out to Band Raw. I saw the halftime and stuff from him, but there really wasn't a lot as it pertained to zero quarter, as it pertained to fifth quarter, so on and so forth. So I'm only using this as the springboard to have this conversation because they ain't the only ones doing it. So my thing is, at the end of the day, we got to be open to doing something different. We've got to be open to providing more musicianship, not only for us individuals as musicians, but for our audience. The one thing that I remember, that Dr. Sanford was talking about is training your audience. The problem is we've only trained our audience to be able to listen to Crank Up. And in my opinion, we got to do better than that. And we got to stop playing so many daggone minor songs. Yes, I know all the rap daddies is in the minor chords. But the problem is, at the end of the day, we've got to have variety. So you mean to tell me that you cannot play a song well in a major key? It's just impossible? I don't know. Y'all tell me in the comment section. But then also Alabama and Miles played this past weekend. And again, that's one of those kind of situations where, there's just not a lot of footage provided for that. I think A1 Media was out there. And I think that's another thing. And I know Justin's in the comments. This weekend, it was really interesting because Showtime Web was at the Boombox, as well as Justin, or Smash Time, because Smash Time just happened to be at the Norfolk and Hampton game. Justin, you got a team now? You got like three and four people traveling? I don't know how you did it, but yeah. There was people, the Alabama and Miles game, which there was, again, not a lot of footage of. A1 got a lot of Alabama, but not necessarily a lot of Miles. So unfortunately, that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbled on that. But then there was another group that I really thought was standouts to me. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, man, are you serious? Yes, I am absolutely serious. There is one group that was a standout to me, and that was A&T. Yes, I'm saying it. North Carolina A&T was a standout for me. Here is the reason why. Because they played something different. They did something with their music. They played the Jill Scott "It's Love," and let me go ahead and say it. Let me go ahead and put it out there. Their arrangement, I like their arrangement. I like the approach. I like the stuff that they added into it with the sections coming up there and doing their little solos and all that kind of stuff. The euphonium section needed a little bit more work. I'm just going to be real. That euphonium section was not ready for that, but I know that they had to go out there and perform, but they weren't ready. I'm just going to keep it a buck. All right. But other than that, man, I really appreciate what they did, and the music that they played and the piece that they played and the attempt that they did. I'm going to always say this. I'm going to always default to somebody trying to do something different. And I've said it multiple times on this show. Portia's heard me say it. Quan has heard me say it. Y'all have heard me say it. No matter what you say about A&T, the one thing I'm always going to appreciate about them is they're going to make the attempt to try to do and be something different. And that is what I appreciate. They're not going to get with what everybody else is doing. They're not going to do the group thing. What they're going to do is they're going to continuously attempt to be different. So shout out to them. I thought it was pretty dope what they did on that. Now, finally, I know. This is not I guess you want to say band and or music worthy, but I do want to talk about this because this right here is something that is heavily on my mind, and I just want to have the conversation about it very quickly. Coach Prime, good old Coach Prime. First of all, I do want to say this. Shout out to him and what he's doing. I watched both games, and I mean, it's great. I mean, to see what he's doing with that team, to be able to see the energy that he's bringing. Here's my problem with Coach Prime, and this was my problem when the whole situation went down. The energy that he's bringing to Colorado, I said it like that on purpose. The energy that he's bringing to Colorado is amazing. There's a lot of chocolate folks. I think Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp came out to the last game. I think it was Wu-Tang was out there. I think they were already going to do a performance anyway out there, but they came out there. Here's my thing that I feel about this whole situation. I mean, if you're going to get your bag, get your bag. I'm not going to tell you not to get your bag. But my thing is, the energy that you're bringing to Colorado is the same energy that you were bringing to Jackson. And now that you're not at Jackson, that same energy is not there. And my thing is, no, I'm not expecting him to be the savior of anything. But if you have a platform and a way to be able to bring recognition and all of that to our people, HBCU programs, so on and so forth, then let's capitalize on that. Because what I'm seeing right now is the energy that was brought to Jackson State when he was there is no longer the same. The energy that HBCUs were getting, I'm not saying that HBCUs are now all of a sudden not getting any press or any play or anything like that, but it's not on the same level of what that is or what it was. And my thing is, at the end of the day, as a people, as a culture, as HBCUs, I love to see our people being in a space together where it's not dissension, where we're having a good time and we're celebrating each other. And my biggest thing right now is the fact that all of that energy is now moved to Colorado. And a lot of people were like, well, if he leaves, he made the blueprint and blah, 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 blah. And the same thing that I kept saying is the same thing that's happening now. It's the fact of, you can make the blueprint, but everybody doesn't have the namesake to follow that blueprint. And that's the point. He brings a completely different energy. He brings something different to make people want to not specifically watch him, but also they paid attention to HBCUs. And my thing was, if he decided to continue doing that in the future, then that would have shined more lights on other HBCUs. That is my problem. I get all the other stuff. That's why I say, if you're going to go get your bag, get your bag. I did start out by saying that. But at the same time, I'm not telling you not to get your bag. I'm not saying that was his fault. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that energy translates to other places. And so, while I was even watching the Colorado game and enjoying it, it's just, I'm now seeing all that energy shift from HBCU to Colorado. So, and whatever you feel, you can put it in the comments. I already know you are, and that's cool. That's the whole point of this whole platform, is that if you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't, and that's cool. Let's have a conversation about it. But I do know that I just like to see our people being able to thrive and getting that kind of energy, in our spaces. And sometimes for me, just watching that energy and our people now going to Colorado and watching that it was just kind of disheartening for me. So, hey, it is what it is, man. I'm gonna move on because we got to get to the rest of the show. We got people backstage waiting, and Portia like, come on, man. I need you to hurry up and let's get this thing done. All right, so. But that's the band update for today. Hey, at the end of the day, let's just go ahead and be creative in these band programs, man. That's all I'm saying. All right, man, let's move on. So let's go ahead and do it the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like, daddy, man. Don't even wait on it. I'm telling you, we about to get into some stuff today, and I can't wait to have this conversation. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. All right, man, let me go ahead and bring Portia in here. Let me see how she's doing, and then we're going to go ahead and start the show, man. All right, so here it is. What's going on, Portia? How you doing? Are you muted?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm exhausted, but I'm here.
What you got going on? Why are you so exhausted?
That's a lot with my real job and my little job. It's a lot going on. Um, but this is the nature of the beast.
It is. It is. And you know what? I'm glad that you're here, and we're gonna just go ahead and have this conversation. And we do have somebody backstage. I don't know if she I don't know. That's a good question. Somebody just asked me what happened to the rest of the message in my scroll. I don't know because I'm looking right at it. But it's like messed up. Oh well. Anyway, let me go ahead and get to the meat of this conversation. So last week I told you we're talking dancers and auxiliary and flags and so much and all of this. And I wanted to have a really good conversation and really just talk about some things that are going on, some things that I see. Um, there's just a lot. And so, I wanted to go ahead and bring some people on. And so I wanted it to, well, never mind. I ain't going to talk about that. All right. So, with that being said, though, uh, I'm going to go ahead. She's backstage. I'm going to go ahead. I want to make sure I pronounce her name correctly, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. Um, so I'm gonna bring her in, and then I'm gonna have her announce her own name, if that's okay. So here we go. Can you hear me? I don't know if she can hear me. She may be muted. I think she is muted. Okay. So I'll bring her back out. So until we get her straight out, I'll be messing however you say it. Messaging her. I don't know how to say it. Good God. Anyway,
Messaging her.
yes, messaging her. I don't know what is going on with me right now. But no, I'm going to message her off as we're going ahead and having this conversation. But anyway, let's have this conversation. We're talking auxiliaries today. A lot going on in the auxiliary world. First things first, I want to go ahead and start off this conversation. Portia, I know that you have to be, a little subtle in your approach. And so I know that you're going to tread lightly. So let me ask you this question: What do you think about what you're seeing from the auxiliary thus far?
Um, I have a very limited view, if I'm being honest. Um, I can only speak to what I saw in Houston and the two bands that we've seen thus far. I normally would use my Sundays to um catch up on like band world life. Well, we've been so busy since we started this thing. I have not really been paying attention. Um so I will say I've seen from what I've seen thus far, maybe I've watched a few clips like if I'm scrolling. Um I've seen some really really good things and I've seen some not so good things. I haven't seen anything in the middle. It was either really good or it needed a lot of work.
Okay, all right. So first thing, hey, I think I gave some people the wrong link. My bad, my bad. Yeah, usually by now I would have noticed a lot more auxiliary. Um, and for me right now, it's funny because a lot of what's happening from the band perspective or the wind perspective is kind of overshadowing me having to really pay attention to what's going on from the auxiliary perspective. Now, what I will say is I did watch A&T show this past weekend, and I love what their guard, well, the all-purpose girls. I love what they do. But I think that is not only specifically from what they do from a from necessarily a dance and a guard perspective, but that's also staging. So I think Gary is doing a great job as far as placing them in the right places to allow their silk and their colors to be able to pop. So I really think that they're doing a great job. But for the most part, I really haven't been paying attention. I mean, I did pay attention to Alabama State. and the Stingettes. I did pay attention to them, and they're doing some great stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of I'm kind of a fan of the Stingettes. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of am. I kind of am.
Yeah, they look good this year. I did a couple of people sent me clips of them, and I just think for me, for them, it's how everything is an extension of your body and they use everything as a part of their choreo and it just looks so good together. A couple of clips that I got, it was the hair for me. I'm like, this is, and then they're doing some different stuff, moving formations in the stands. They did one thing and they ended up in a straight line and then ripple back out of it. It was awesome. I was like, okay, this is what it's all about. I have seen some good things from them. I like I said, if I saw what I saw was either really, really, really good or it needed a few more mango seasons. But it's still kind of early. So we'll see. But what I will say is that I am seeing highlights of more color guard thus far. And so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, the color guard thing is definitely now being shown. I think I want to give a little kudos here to not only just you, but also Justin for kind of pushing that thing forward. So I think those conversations that we have been very necessary to getting some more color guard exposed. I want to go ahead and bring in another guest. We have her backstage. I remember this young lady when she was in the band many moons ago. Now it ain't been that long, but I'm gonna bring her in. I want her to go ahead and introduce herself. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring her into the room. Boom, there we go. Hey,
Hey.
it is good to see you. Go ahead and introduce yourself and background and stuff. We already know who I am and Portia is.
Okay. My name is Tiara. You can call me T. I am a legacy PV Black Fox of the Marching Storm marching band. Bands for me started, I'll say ninth grade in high school. And then yeah, after seeing the Foxes at a few Gremlin PV games, I was like, okay, yeah, I want to do that. And tried out and there it was. Somebody said T the brand, hey.
Yeah, everybody now knows you as the Lash Queen now.
I
So
know.
so, but no, it's great to have you on the show. I got to pull in some more people. We doing this bit by bit, but it's all good. So real quick, just kind of getting your thought process. What are you feeling about the dance world right now? What are you seeing from some groups? What are your thoughts?
um, I'll say overall, for the most part, everybody looks well. Everybody looks good. There are, some things that are a lot different from when I was dancing, and of course, I compare. Like, all right, this I want to say the wrong thing. Things have changed, and I'll say as far as like skills on the field, like technique and all that, these girls are coming in like with it. Like if you don't get that training before you come to audition for a collegiate team, like you're probably not gonna make it because it's really huge and it's really important. Versus all the years ago when I was auditioning, it was like okay, you can kind of skate. And your performance quality will kind of get you through or get you in the door and they'll work with you from there. But I mean things are changing, teams are looking different, some for the better, some for the not. But it's cool.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that was the best way to put it. So she said she can hear us. Okay, so I don't know what's happening. Let me see. I'm gonna bring her in again, and let's see if this works. Hey, listen. Before I bring her in, I just understand. I want y'all to understand. Technical difficulties is real. If y'all notice, we got a new platform. So the new platform, we got to get used to this. So hey, work with us. Work with us. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you? I'm sorry, my phone acting up. Can you hear me?
No, I can. We can hear you just fine. There we go. Now we got you
I'm
in here.
working on. Child, I'm trying to turn my camera around and everything.
Hey, I mean, life is life. I mean, it happens. Sometimes life's you, but it'll be all right. You good. You good.
So while I fix my camera, hi, my name is Apri. I danced Scarlet Lace at Winston State many moons ago, so I'm a little old school, probably people would say, but I keep up with a lot, especially with CIAA and MEAC and the SWAC now, because I'm more introduced to it now that I can lay back and just watch. But like T said, things have definitely changed. Some for the better, and some where I say everybody's trying to be like everybody and not their traditional way that they are known for. Everybody wants to look the same. Like the Stingettes do their thing, and now everybody trying to be hard like the Stingettes, and it's just politically correct. It doesn't work for them. And it's a couple of squads I'm like, oh, that's not what you're known for. So why are you dancing like that? Keep your traditions. You know, things change and that's okay. But I feel like some people are stepping away from what they were known for to look like, and I'm gonna use Sting as an example, or DD4L. People are trying to copy and look like them, and that is a problem for me. Just as a fellow CIAA dancer, it's just like, oh, okay, that's not what you used to look like in '07, 2010, 2016. Now 2023, everybody's trying to look the same. Everybody's trying to have the same hairstyle. Everybody's trying to have the same uniform. And people are taking away the Nancy boots for heels that they can't even walk in. So it's just like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's my little take on
And I,
that.
well, you said old head. What years did you march?
I'm
right. You see,
'06 to 2010.
Girl.
I
Okay,
take
you had me thinking you had marched in the 90s or
no,
something.
no,
Okay.
no, 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 not
No,
at
no, we
all.
marched
But
during the same time. We marched
yeah,
during the
but you
same
know how
time.
people be like, "You old school," and I just be like, "I'm not. I'm in the middle."
Child, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I ain't claiming that. God ain't in that. I ain't
Oh,
old school
I can
yet.
still get down with it. Get down. Don't get it twisted. I can listen. But everybody always like, "Oh, y'all old school," and I don't like hearing that because I'm just like, "Oh, okay, all
That's
right." So,
crazy.
but I'm
T
up to
oh 06 to
2010.
2010. Okay.
Mhm.
T uh what years did you march at PV?
13 through 16.
Um, okay. There we go. So I think it's crazy because we've had this conversation, Julian, about band as well, as like some of the bands are shifting away from being themselves and what they were known for. And we are seeing that in the auxiliary um, across the board because I see it in color guard too, and I'd be like, oh wow, that's interesting. And see, the thing is that everybody has a lane. And when you start to veer into somebody else's lane, that's not your path. So it's probably not going to go right for you. And I don't know how you ditch years of tradition or a certain style to try to be like somebody else and feel good about that. And my thing is, if whatever you're doing, if you do it well, it'll be acknowledged. So I don't really get you trying to veer off course. Now, should you grow? Absolutely. The squad that I coach does stuff, a lot of stuff that we didn't do. And that's okay because when you look at it, it still looks like the Silkettes, or it should still look like whatever the squad is. And so I just don't know how we got here and what's next if everybody, you used to could see something and automatically name the squad. You didn't
Mhm.
have to have a title. You didn't have to have a caption. You could look and say that's such and such, or you could see a high school doing it and say they got it from this squad. Now, maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't know.
I'll agree that the Bring It era really like shook the dance world. And that was, what became attractive to high school dance teams or, like community teams. And when those kids grow up and it's time for them to audition, that's what they're coming with. And if that's what the majority of your audition, what the majority of the dances in your audition are doing or bringing, I mean, you almost really don't have a choice, especially if, like you said, Portia, if you don't if you don't have strong tradition, and I would like to say if you don't have alumni who are still present to keep that kind of stuff alive, to keep the style, flowing through the team, then it's gonna turn into whatever the high school babies are bringing with them. Apri, you said something, and I'm like, yeah, there are teams seemingly going through like an identity crisis, from uniforms to hair to just the style of dance that they do now.
It's not a scene. They are. And
Yeah,
it ain't working out for most of them.
yeah,
It just when you talk about community dance, and that's where like I watch community dance. I judge like the dance competitions. I mean, I call them little, but I watch them and I'm like, y'all, like I be like, a tongue out is not an expression. That is not a facial. Scrubbing the ground is that's not giving. That's not technique. Just because you could throw and do a donkey drop and your legs go behind your ears is not preparing them for in high school, dance in college, because you're not going to be sticking your tongue out performing. You're not going to give these arch, not pointed toes when you need to be having them pointed. And I know everybody, great, community works. You want to give somebody something, but when you just have somebody that grandma, auntie wanting to start a community dance squad, don't have background in dance, it don't look good. And
I,
then they want to know why their daughter got cut. Well,
Well, I mean, part of that is transferring over into collegiate squads. All these people don't have credentials to be doing the stuff they doing. And that's part of why, in my opinion, we seeing some of the stuff we seeing.
yeah, even
And the reality is everybody that can do it can't coach it.
yeah, yeah. With the community dance team, the competitions, I had to pull away from judging because I don't want to keep seeing little 6-year-olds with their pajamas on the floor. I think
But
it
see,
also,
and I don't want to interrupt y'all because y'all are going in. And this is a conversation that I've had on multiple shows. Do we feel as though, or do you all feel as though what you all do has become too sexualized?
yeah,
yeah,
especially if age appropriate. I got
yeah.
age appropriate dance move. I got an age appropriate uniforms. Your daughter should not be 6 years old wearing lingerie, see through tops. If you're, and I'm not saying this, it also needs to be your body type. If your daughter is a little thickum and you got a two-piece on and it don't look right, that's not giving. Like, I think they're over sexualizing these 6 year olds. They're humping the ground, and I just be like, mm. No,
Even
man.
the
But
high schoolers,
it's not exactly. You took the words out of my mouth because I
Yeah.
went to
shouldn't be
uh
rubbing up their body and like,
I went to a high school competition here. I think it was right over the North Carolina line from Virginia, not like 2 years ago. And the dancers danced to meet in my bedroom. And I was like, skirt,
legs shaking by R. Kelly. I'm like, what is going
what is
Why
going
is this
on? We couldn't pick
song a
nothing else.
stand routine? Even with stand routines, I'll take it back to, what we mentioned about like the whole bring it era. Like stand routines in high school and that for competitive teams, that's not what you're doing when you get to college. We're not flipping and doing stunts and tumbling. So it's hard for you to conform to what an actual stand routine is when it is time for you to audition for a collegiate level team. And it's like, there's no real preparation for the collegiate teams, and for some you don't have to because they're conforming to the high
Which
school
should not be happening. Which should not be happening. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, like I don't know how many times this year that I've had to say, we will not change for you. If you want to be here, you will change to be a silken. Period. I don't care what you did in high school. That is nice. Most of the people that come to the squad that I have don't twirl anything like us. And that's okay. It's going to take time, energy, efforts, and blood, sweat, and tears, but you'll get there.
Yes.
But why is that not the attitude across the board?
So before you guys get into this, I have another person that we got to bring in here, and and y'all were really going in, but the whole time y'all were going in, I was trying to get her right.
Oh,
Um,
sorry.
no, no, you good because at some point you already know me. I'm gonna end up changing the topic. This thing is gonna go a lot deeper than what you expect. But I want to bring her in because I told her I'm gonna tell y'all I think her position and where she and what she does is valid as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring her in. I want you to go ahead like I've done for everybody. Tell us where you're from and what you do, so on and so forth, your auxiliary background. Let's bring Justice in.
Yeah. Hi. Okay, the camera a little close. Jesus. Okay. Um. Hi, my name is Justice. I marched at Texas Southern University from 2012 to 2016, and I am currently the coach of the flag line at Texas Southern right now. So yes.
Can I tell you the girls look good? Okay.
Thank you.
The girls
I
Thank
look
told
you.
good.
you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. The camera a little close. Okay.
Now you good. I know that you were going through the process of getting set up and so on and so forth. So you're absolutely good. So I mean you guys were saying a mouthful and I really didn't want to stop you. But as we kind of dive a little deeper into this, it almost feels like some of the same conversations we have in the band world where it's like, where is the identity of said organization? Are we all trying to look like the same groups or the same programs? Where would you all say that a lot of that came from?
I would, I would say when
Y'all ain't got to raise your hand. Just go.
Oh,
I mean, we ain't in the
we don't
classroom.
want to be rude,
Are
just
you
mm.
good?
but no, I think it's when you have people that are their coaches come from a different school, then they bring what they learn or what they know from their school to where they coach at. It shifts a lot. I've seen coaches that they were coaching at another SWAT school and now they're at another. They dance at one SWAT school, now they're coaching at, and you could tell where they came from, and they switched the tradition of it. You like, oh, okay, well, I know where you danced at, and now I see what you're trying to do in your coaching. It doesn't mean that it's wrong necessarily, but like we said before, Portia said it doesn't work all the time.
I'm going to say it's wrong.
Okay, well,
When you showed up at that school,
there you
there were traditions,
go. Okay.
there were things that existed. Now, that's not to say that you don't need to grow it. That's not to say that you don't need to enhance what's there. That's not to say that you won't need to change some things to push the squad forward. But to completely flop or change the aesthetic, the look, the traditions, the presentations of a squad that existed way before you showed up there, to me is wrong. Now, I never thought that I would be coaching at all. Let's just be clear. You would have had to have known me then. But if I left Norfolk State today and went somewhere else to coach, to me, color guard is color guard. The basics are the basics. So if I went somewhere else, I wouldn't try to make them the Silkettes. I'm gonna try to enhance whatever they're bringing to the table.
So I
It
have a
is
question.
possible. Go ahead.
I have a question. So, what if somebody's coming to a different school and they don't have a strong tradition? They're just going with the flow. And so they need some type of structure. Then what happens then?
I think you need to build your own brand. I don't think you should model it after exactly what you came from because then it's a copy.
Hmm.
You find a way to figure out what works with the band's overall style. You like, what's the motif? What are we going for? What's our goal to the director of bands? What's your goal here for this squad or that squad? What are you hoping to accomplish with this squad or that squad? You know, Is some of it gonna be similar? Yes. But I don't think that all of DCI looks the same. You could start with the basics and build from there. I don't think you should carbon copy a college squad. I just don't think that should be happening. I think you can build and start to develop, what this will look like for that school, but I don't think it should be a carbon copy.
I would say
But
social
that's
media
just my opinion.
part in the shift happening. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you, Justice. I didn't know you said.
Social media. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Social.
yeah. Like all of the social media collegiate dance pages, they made celebrities out of the dancers. And so where one team is getting more attention from the internet, now these other teams you conform because you want the same, you want the same exposure and the same accolades and all the things. And so when this team and that team are popping off, now you're trying to figure out how to be both teams, and you totally lose again the identity of your traditions from your school and your team. So I think social media played a huge part in that.
So you actually started jumping into another category that I was going to go in anyway. That tends no, you good because that tends to happen a lot on this show, right? So let's talk social media and the influence of auxiliary. One of the things that Portia said from the beginning is now she's starting to see a lot of people cover the flags, where at one time few and far between, right? And now also when I look at dance lines now from a personal perspective, now it's like these girls' names, what they majors are. So with that happening on the dance line side, and now flags are starting to get a little bit more coverage. From the flag perspective, do you feel like the color guard can go in that same lane of what it is in dance? And then on the other side, from a dance perspective, do you feel like social media has completely ruined the game?
Okay, well, I can start. I feel like we're not. From what I tell my girls is, we're not trying to be the dancers. We're never trying to.
Say it again for the people in the back.
We're not trying to be the dancers, and that's more of what I tried to stop this year when I had tryouts. I never wanted the girls that didn't make the dance team, they automatically put them on the flag team, so then all they want to do is dance. that's not what
Hmm.
i that's not what I want you on the team for. So I was strictly pushing for people coming from them DCI teams and the people coming from those competition teams so we can expand a higher horizon. So I'm glad I have a group of girls that's not pressed on, can we dance in the stands? Can we dance this, that? So it's just, we strictly doing flag. So I think we need to separate that first, and then there's nothing wrong with making sure the team look good, because at the same time you can have all the skills in the world but you look horrible.
Mm.
You're not attractive, you're not like something, not saying that everybody has to be a figure shape, but you got to still be able to move around the field and do whatever you have to do. So it's more so of just showing the team and just making sure that things are being actually what they're here for and not for other reasons.
I just
So
came to
that's
dance
what
for
I
y'all.
push
That's
for.
all.
Yeah, ain't that's it? So I completely agree. Automatically on the team is crazy. Even if you want to come over here because you ain't make that, you still got to audition, baby. Spare me. But what I will say is that, can color guard get to that level? Yes, but it has to be shown. It has to be made appealing. Like a lot of times, I'm seeing more of it now, but it's still not where it should be. It's some amazing stuff happening out here on these fields. I mean, and when you think about the amount of work that goes into not only learning a feature, but learning the drill, being out there the entire show, that's work. And a lot of times it's either not shown, but we're getting better. But if it ain't a feature, it ain't featured. That's a problem because they working out here. So I appreciate, that's why I've been saying it a lot on this show. Like, it's all in what we prioritize. We can't allow outsiders to dictate to us what's important. We are allowing that. So can it get there? Absolutely. But we got to drive that bus, and we have to put these students out there because they working. And it would not be fair to show one thing and not another. So, can it get there? Absolutely. Do I want it to get there? Not in coach. No, I don't want to deal with that. People screaming, holler people names and stuff. It happens a little bit now, but not like the dancers. I wouldn't even want to have to deal with that monster. But can it get there? Yes. Are we going in a good direction? Yes. But we need more of it. Show what's going on. Show this work ethic. Show these, this contribution to this field show from top to bottom. So that's my thoughts.
All right. And I know I asked the other part of the question. So has social media really, really ruined this whole thing?
Yes.
Say ruined.
I feel like yes.
I wouldn't say ruined. I think that it's up to coaches to take the control back, because not only do dancers, but dancers are kids. We coming in at 17, 18 years old, and social media is the thing. So of course we want to be seen on social media, but coaches have to not want to be seen as well, or not put so much I guess energy into their team being glorified. That way you keep your dancers humble. And yeah, I think that falls back on the coaches. I don't think social media has totally ruined it, but I think if the coaches stay thirsty for attention for themselves and for their teams, then it's gonna be bad, because it's not only does social media pin teams against teams, it pins teammates against teammates, because y'all love this person that I dance next to, but me, if you do say something about me, it ain't much, or it's just a sprinkle, and then you of course have like the negative comments or whatever that may be on a post. But social media, it puts teammates against teammates. And yeah, no.
Yeah,
So
I
wait,
can
that's
see.
really happening? Teammates be
Well, I mean, you have to think about it. If you working as hard as somebody else, but this person got a fan club and they only shouting out what this one person is doing, but y'all was in the trenches together, you gonna be a little annoyed.
And remember, they are key. I don't care how mature you are. All of that attention is going to go to your head. If you go from 1,000 followers to 12,000 followers in a season, you can't tell me you don't think you some type of dance world celebrity. And no matter, in some regard, that's gonna come out. You can be a really humble person or whatever, but in some way or another, that is going to ooze out of you. So that's why I'm saying it falls back on the coaches. You gotta remind your dancers what's important, and it's not the internet. Remember why you came here. It wasn't so that you could be a social media dance influencer. It was because you loved what you were doing. And so yeah, it's real.
Yeah, I'm glad I danced when that. And again, this sounds real old because I'm glad I danced when I danced before internet was like bam bam. Because if I was a dancer and me reading the YouTube comments, me seeing Instagram comments, like they go hard. And you'd be like, well, dang, if I didn't think I sucked, now I really think I suck because you really making me feel like, oh, dang, if I didn't think I was out of shape, well, dang, am I fat? Like, I'm working my, like, that right there. You already got the pressure of your coach saying you need to be on point. But now you got strangers pinpointing different insecurities that I didn't think I had before, but now you pinpointing everything. What am I doing? And when you say teammates against teammates, like I can tell you, I know one or two people names. Let's just go with the dogs. I see one or two, three people names particular, but I don't know anybody else's name if I didn't pay attention because people have made them things like social media is dangerous. Like I tell everybody, like it's dangerous and yeah, it is a good thing sometimes, but me reading comments, I be like, oh
Yeah, I
no,
stay out of them comments.
like
Like now that I'm coaching, I don't. Cause see, I'm older and I'm a lot calmer, but that other one, she's still in there. And I don't play about my girls. Who you talking to? See, I don't be in them comments. But I think T, you said something that I want to hit on. The problem is not just affecting these students; it's also affecting these coaches. Some of y'all in the camera more than these students, and I'm gonna tell you, for me, it's a little problem. It's a problem. You gonna see me in the background. They've been putting like the staff members of the Spartan Legion on the page, and people was texting me like, "Why you ain't in none of these pictures?" Because on game day, I'm out the way. I got my footage. I got my receipts. This daytime. If they shining, I'm good. If they execute, I'm good.
Yeah.
They are my work. I'm gonna let that speak for me. I don't need to be out in the front. I don't need to be recording with them behind me. Actually, I'm recording them so they'll have footage after the game to post to the page. That's what I'm doing game day. Making sure they straight and getting footage so they can put on their page after the game. Some of this is a lot, coaches.
Yeah.
It's really a lot. I see some of y'all more than I see your squad. Why? Okay.
I'll chime in something Apri said when you mentioned about something along the social media with the comments and everything. One thing that came to mind, I thought about my freshman year. I think also dancers need to also be protected from some of the photographers and videographers who are just out there snapping pictures of you on the field.
Wait, what happened? What
Forget,
happened?
there was a photographer. We were lined up on the sideline, and a photographer went down the line and was like, "Oh, you ugly. She cute. Oh, you all right? Snap. You ugly." And it's like,
How do we miss that? Why do we know about that?
because what are you doing during the game or during halftime?
You're right. Never mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. So,
That is
oh yeah,
crazy.
and there's no at the. I won't say that the coach didn't. Well, the coach didn't step in, but I also don't know if she knew what was happening because
Right.
there are photographers taking pictures of us. This is the normal thing, but I don't think there was any attention being put on. So that goes back to this was the point when we were talking about dancers against dancers. If we just, I don't want to say if we get into it, but that opens room for I'm cute and you not. And if there's ever too much estrogen in the room, you can't tell
Which happens a lot.
cute.
Yeah.
And that was birthed from a photographer that we probably won't even see next season. So yeah.
So it sounds like there's an access problem too.
Yes.
This has opened the door for an access problem.
Yes.
And
It's
so
easy.
I'm gonna give you a prime example. This past Saturday we were at Hampton and the guards were getting in place. If y'all don't know, we have male color guard, but their main job is security. Once we set, you can't come over here. So this lady was leading through the Royal Court at Hampton and was like, "We need to go that way." And I said, now that the band is in the stands, you can't come this way. And she was like, "But it's the Royal Court." I said, "I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying to you is that you can't come this way." And she goes, "I don't like your attitude or your energy." And I said, "Ma'am, that's unfortunate, but that does not negate the fact that you cannot come this way." So, but they heard it and said, "No, they need to go around." So she was so upset because I wouldn't let her walk in front of past the entire band to get somewhere that there was a gate right on the other side of her that she could have walked around, which is what she did. But I think that social media has made people feel like they should have complete access to whatever they want because we are turning on our phones or turning on our TVs or turning on our computers and able to access any and everybody at any second. So the fact that I was telling her that she couldn't access something is like the end of the world because social media has created a false sense of access.
Yeah, because we would have been fighting. I don't know what. I just know that when I dance, at good old Winston-Salem State University. There was too many hood people in the band with me, and we down. Like it'd be like, you doing what? Oh, and if like like when you was talking about a photographer, oh, we would have turned our backs on them. Like it would have been, oh, you can't have access to us. We're gonna turn our backs to you, and you're not going to be able to take a picture of us. None of us. But the fact that he said that, that's a problem.
That's
People,
crazy.
people
I
too,
can't even believe that.
people too privileged, and you
Yep.
got they privileged, and you be like because I don't coach dance, I coach high school cheer, and so it's the same thing. Like I'm now in the cheer world, which is really funny. And my with some state powerhouse, their cheerleaders, they are they are and my cheerleaders. We go to their camp and like, oh my God, they're groupies. I'm like, y'all, they are kids. Like, stop putting people on this platform, and when they can't live up to this platform, y'all feelings is hurt. Then y'all want to talk bad about them, but y'all was just praising them last season. Y'all just praising these dancers last season or this dancer. And when this dancer does something that y'all don't feel like is right here, oh, y'all turn y'all backs on them, and you just be like, oh, how you think a 21, 20, 19, 18, 17 year old will feel because y'all literally just y'all putting these people down. I'm just like, couldn't do it. I could not dance now.
Nah.
I couldn't dance. I couldn't dance. I
Yeah,
loved
when I was in the band, you had to leave. You had to record it on your phone, leave, and go plug your phone to your computer, and upload it to YouTube.
yeah,
Everything you do now is on the internet instantaneously.
yeah,
Everything, good, the bad, the ugly, everything.
yeah. I
Yeah,
couldn't. It's too much pressure.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she gained weight. She went that size last season. Well, I'm growing. Like, what am I supposed to do? I was 17 last year. I'm 18 this year.
Look like a 12-year-old boy forever.
What?
That's the expectation.
Do not do
That is,
that.
you can't change at all, or it's a
Mm,
problem, and they gonna call it out.
I
so
was watching a band clip. Who was it? The singers, and they were calling her name, and I was just like, y'all are groupies. Like y'all screaming this child name, and she don't even know you. Do you know how much pressure that? Oh, too much.
They put the people face on shirts. They got signs. It's a lot.
I'm gonna say this. So first off, when we had Maya on the show, um, Maya was because when Maya was there at Prairie View was the same time that I started at Prairie View, and that was kind of the first time I had ever seen like a dance girl fan. Like when we would go places, people would yell for Maya, and I was like, "What is this?" Like so, but it was still in the early stages. I think Tara, when you were there, it was really kind of getting hot, but then you kind of tipped out right before it got nuts.
Yeah.
Um, so hearing this information is just completely just like it's crazy to hear it from different perspectives. Because at one point, it was just hearing it from Maya, just hearing it from Portia, but to hear that some of that same conversation, that same jargon, and that same these same situations are going on in different places is just crazy to hear. But one of the things that you all were talking about was access. Um, I'm kind of shifting gears when it comes to this access thing because we have two coaches here and we have two people who aren't coaches specifically, but now you're in the cheer world and you just T. But um, but when we talk about access, let's talk about parental access. When you come to a university, I'm going to talk from a university standpoint, but I know that you're coaching the high school babies. But when you come to a university, the understanding is that now at this point, your parents have relinquished that from you, and now you are a whole adult. How much access have you all seen from parents, not from as a performer, and then as you two as coaches, or you three as coaches, as a matter of fact?
Let me
I
jump in
don't
on
talk to
that part because
parents.
I'm not a coach.
Go ahead.
When I came into the collegiate dance world, parents were your mama and your daddy at home. You are an adult here, and I mean you can vent to them, but they don't have any control here. So you gotta grow up, and if you can't speak up for yourself and all of that stuff, I mean it sucks to suck, but you can either sink or swim. That's how it was when I came in. By the time I was leaving, oh no, parents was calling the coaches and the band directors and the president of the school, and it was like it got to the point where I was like, I don't even want to talk to my teammates no more, because anything that anybody says to correct you, you want to go tell your mama. And it's not that you can't share it with your parents or whatever, but yeah, parents make it hard on everybody, on the organization and on the dancer, because now we're looking at you crazy and you isolated. And it makes it just, oh, parents need to,
I
they just,
think it's a
oh.
generational. I think it's a now generational thing. I
Yeah.
think because I teach high school, like I'm a high school teacher and I coach. Like it's a this generation situation because heck, it started elementary, middle, high school, and collegiate. Like parents think that what they say goes, and if they don't get their way, don't worry about it. I'm gonna call the superintendent. You'd be like, but I told you she couldn't cheer because she missed practice because she want to go get her hair done for her birthday, and that's an unexcused absence. So no, she can't cheer. Oh no, I'm gonna take it to the superintendent. Oh, okay. But then when they go to collegiate, they doing the same thing.
Baby, they're not doing that over here.
They
I
tried.
I give a
They tried it.
Let me tell you something. I give a speech every year. I don't talk to parents. I'm not going to discuss anything that happens here with your parent. They don't understand the culture. They weren't here for whatever this situation is that we need to discuss. So I'm not talking to them. If you want to consult your mother or your father about this situation so that you're prepared to have an adult conversation with me, let's do that. But I'm not talking to your mother about anything that goes on here. And I talked to my first parent this year. That's because I was having a meeting with her daughter and she was like, "Can I stay?" That's fine. I didn't address her. I addressed her daughter until she was like, "But you still got to do this." I don't have to do anything but coach this squad the way that I feel like it needs to be coached.
Mhm. I ain't
Now they blow the director of bands up, honey. If you want to talk to somebody, talk to him. I am not discussing anything with your mother. Was she here? Does she know what happened? So it's third party information. I don't have time for that. You as an adult, if we have a situation here that needs to be discussed, you could talk to Jesus, the your counselor, your mama, your grandmother, the entire family. Call a Zoom meeting if in preparation for our meeting, but I'm not discussing squad business with somebody who's not here.
Definitely
And
agree.
until this year, I've talked to one parent, and that's because the meeting was in the director of band's office. But I still address the student. I'm sorry. We are not, because what I'm saying is when they get a job and they get reprimanded on the job, are you going to call it? I tell the Silks every year, I'm going to prepare you for life. This is how life works. When you leave here and have to face your manager
uh,
or discuss them, your mother cannot call and have that conversation for you. So let's start now. It's practice.
I tell my high schoolers that listen. That is, I teach them. I'm like, y'all, if y'all gonna cheer or dance in the college world, your mom and daddy can't save you. Don't even ask them to call because they just gonna look at you and they probably get rid of you because you're a problem. So you a problem. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I, I tell don't give 'em my number. I had one
Don't,
parent up
I
on me.
wish she called your phone, sis.
Yeah, she called my phone.
I
So
would have said this is paid for by LaPortia Deutsch and not go stay click. You got me messed
so
up.
I said that was between me and her daughter. So she decided to pull up on me here practice. We could go to
Whoa!
the bands. So yeah, that was my only time last year, and I was like, oh God, no. Let me
Oh
just go ahead and
God,
stop
God,
this.
oh, he know what battles to give his witch soldiers. Cause baby, woo!
no ma'am,
Don't
no.
call this your phone. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is my personal line. Click.
I ain't never called my parents for nothing. Like they didn't know what was going on in band until they saw me perform.
No,
That
I called my mama and say this is the hardest thing I ever did. She said, "You went and found them people. They ain't come find you. Extra curricular, extra curricular. So either you gonna do the extra and stay, or you gonna leave. And I ain't raised no quitter. Click.
ooh, yeah. They would have been like, oh, okay, what you want us to do? Oh, okay, that's it. When I had to pay for stuff for dance. Okay, how you getting the money? You got to work. Okay, thank you.
It has really gotten bad. The number of parents that go up to Bethea's office is absolutely nuts. I tell him every day, I would never want your job because I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not even talking to you because the first thing I'm gonna ask you is, where's the documentation that you filed with the university that I can discuss this adult with you?
Mm.
Because they are adults. So there's paperwork that has to be filed to even say that you can discuss their personal business with somebody outside of this institution.
Do you all feel like this is a reaction from COVID?
No.
Or
No, these people
was
was
this
simple like
pre-COVID?
this before that.
Okay, so these actions were pre-COVID.
Yes, when I first got on the staff in 19, the number of it's people, parents that come up and sit and watch us practice. What the hell are you doing? You don't have no business. What are you doing? Why are you here
And
every day
in the car,
in
watching.
the
You
car
got to practice
looking?
clothes.
Hey, Miss
Practice clothes.
Portia, why are you here again?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
See, no, ma'am.
I want you to go find a hobby, a man, some business, or something.
I have a close practice. I don't care. I have a close practice. You cannot come. You can see them on game day. That's high school.
Oh,
I do not play that.
let
Mm-mm.
me be clear. This is when we outside.
Oh
We
yeah,
don't. Norfolk State's a public campus, so we can't
yeah,
control who's outside. Now you don't dot that door or that band room, but
yeah.
outside they'll pull up. How do you get your child to send you the schedule? How do you know that we get ready to come outside?
See, no, we was outside practicing, like the locals and people would come, but parents, no, ma'am.
So as far as parents are concerned, so now we're having the conversation with parents as it pertains to you all, right? But what about those helicopter parents that are now get involved not only with the student but the student's issues with other students? Has that ever happened with you
Oh
all?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you need a life. Why are you involved in this?
Mm-mm.
And my question to them is often, if somebody else's parents treated your child, your student, because I'm careful not to call him a child, your student, how you're treating this other student, would that be acceptable to you? That's their business. They're gonna have to navigate office politics, job issues. You cannot do this. I'm gonna give you a prime example. It was this boy last year that this ain't for everybody. That's the other thing that some of these parents don't need to understand. This right here requires a special kind of person, and it is not for everybody. It is a lot of work, it is a lot of hours, and it is going to test everything about you. I came from a high school to 12 just like the Silks, and I was like, oh my God, if I make it to the end of this, I'm Superwoman. So the boy just he couldn't it was we did PT 3 days in a row during camp. He had to work out at night. He hurt all over. He told us his fingernails hurt. He just couldn't do it. His mama came up there and acted a complete fool. Y'all trying to kill my son. Y'all knew when y'all took him he was overweight. Why y'all gotta work out every day? This some BS and da 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 da. Miss Sanders said everybody down there hurting. Everybody down there in pain. But drill shows can be anywhere from 8 minutes to 15 minutes,
So we
depending on the
out
venue.
on the field.
Okay. You got to step off, and then you got to do this whole game. You got to play in the stands. You got to do the field show. You got to do a fifth quarter. You got to march back. It takes physical endurance to do that, ma'am. Well, I don't think it take all that. I wanted to say by looking at you, I could tell, but I ain't say nothing. I was just in the meeting. And so then Miss Sanders goes, he's an adult now. And eventually, he's going to have to learn how to fend for himself. Eventually you won't be here to intervene. So if he had an issue, this is the first we're hearing about it. She flips out and calls Miss Sanders all kinds of expletives and said, B, I ain't dead yet. So as long as I ain't dead, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say what the F I want for my son. We all sitting there like, Okay. And then, but they said, well, I understand. This is not, for him. And, we wish him well. Maybe he can participate in maybe wind ensemble or something like that, da da da. Don't worry about it. You can kiss our black, blah, 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 and walked out.
Parents are the problem when I tell you that. They don't hold
That's
their.
the kind of stuff that caps off and was talking junk to the section leader that was in the room while all this was happening.
Wow.
Why
So
you? But they'll stop and say you're not going to talk to the students like that. But I brought that up because she was flipping out on the students in that room because of what her son had told her.
that okay. So I didn't know parents was getting this bad.
Woo,
Yeah, it's terrible.
they're gonna get worse.
And I guess I kind of relate it now. I guess to I don't know. Back in the day, now see now this is how this now I'm gonna talk about how old I am. See, back in the day, I just remember back in the '90s and stuff like that when it was like the crazy cheer parents or the crazy pageant parents, right? But now it just obviously seems like now that has now transferred. Those parents are now collegiate student parents, which is to me just weird. I don't know.
You,
My
let
mom
me tell you what I really think it is.
was like, hey, all right, you got it, figure it out.
Yes, but what I really think it is, honestly speaking, all of the issues that I see from a coaching perspective is the expectation that I'm supposed to be out there. You're not supposed to critique me. I'm supposed to be praised for trying even a little bit. And it's what really, not COVID, that was our demise. What is killing us is the participation trophy mentality. That everybody is a winner. No, when I competed, we had first, second, and third place. That's it, and that's all. There won't no participation certificates or trophies. You were here, acknowledgments, none of that. These are the bands, the auxiliaries that place, and the rest of y'all didn't. Here's the feedback so you can go get better. I'm telling you now, it is like people have checkoffs, and it's like World War III is getting ready to cap off. What do you mean I didn't check off? You don't know why you didn't?
It's also a boundary thing. Parents now, like you want to be your kid's friend before
Hmm.
it's time to be your kid's friend. So if through all of your uh school years, we've developed this friendship approach, and I'm always there when you call, and if it's up with both of us. You bring that to their adult lives, and parents don't know how to detach from that. There are no clear boundary. There were no clear, I am your parent and I'm preparing you for life beyond you being a kid. And so yeah, they friends, and the parent feels like it's their right to show up and impose on their adult spaces. They don't know I really think that a lot of parents now maybe don't know the difference between this is my child, but this is not a child, and I can't fight the child battles for them, or I can't. Yeah, they don't let their kids grow up. They
That's
don't let them grow up, and they too friendly. My mom and I, we didn't become friends until after, I would say, in the middle of college years. And it wasn't like we didn't have a good relationship, but there was a clear mother daughter.
Boundary.
And
Yep.
it's not like that. Like, we are best, yeah, we best friends. And the more you say that, a lot of people start, saying that about their kids when they little. But the more you say that, the more you really believe that, and then your actions show up as that. And yeah, now you are that parent with your 20-year-old at school.
Let me tell you, as the person that teach high school, it's bad. Like, and it's not changing. I have parents you call, well, not me, because I don't be having them problems. But I've seen come up to the school to fight the students because the kids got into it with the other child. So they come up to the school and they fight. They ready to fight. Like, man,
You don't have nothing to lose for fighting children. I'm confused. What is going
they
on?
they ready to fight then it's the mama, then their parents up there, they be like, oh, we about to fight. So it's just like it's in high school. Well, I only speak for high school. I know it's younger, but in high school, it's bad. Like if I I have cuts for game day. And one parent was like, well, why my daughter not cheering? I said she didn't know all the material. She looks bad. She was like, well, she should be able to cheer. I said, nah. And I don't change my mind. I'm not changing my mind. And I let my athletic director know these are my standards. I'm not changing my mind because I'm telling my cheerleaders, I am preparing you for life. Everything is, I don't do participation trophies. I don't do ribbons. I don't do none of that. I have three boys, 12, 10, and 7. I don't play with them. They've been in the band world since they were in the womb. When I say I had my son running out today because you want to be on the basketball team, you get cut and they talk about you, it's your fault because you ain't putting the work in. And I'm the wrong parent for that. I'm not holding your hand. I'm going to be there to be supportive. But if I feel like you're not putting the work in, you're not wasting my time or my money, you're going to sit down and watch everybody else play. We don't do that. You got a trombone, you got to practice. We're not wasting my time on this instrument that I'm paying for. We can take it back. See, I'm not that parent, but I watch parents do that, and I was like, y'all can't do that. That's in the dance world, that's in the cheer world, that's in the sports world. These parents, it's oh my god, like these parents go on the field and ready to fight other football players because their child got hurt or their child not, or they cussing the coach out because that kid not on the field playing. Well, what were they doing at practice? So when they get to college with y'all, that's what they got to deal with. They got to deal with the parents that don't know how to let go and think that just because I come and raise hell that that's gonna change my mind. It's not. And then so now you got these soft baby cloud kids that come join the band and dance and do auxiliary and do banner girl and flag and play trombone and clarinet and they soft as crap and they can't handle PT for 2 days, 3 days. They whining and passing out. Why? That's the reason.
I saw a post, and I want to put this out here very quickly, and then after that, shift gears and get to the last topic here. But and then I haven't done this in a while. I'm gonna open up the room, guys. So if anybody wants to jump on really quick and talk that talk with us, I'm gonna put the link in the comments. But um, oh, Smith, I just lost my train of thought.
You saw a post.
You saw something on
Oh,
a
there we go.
post that you
Thank
want to
y'all.
share.
See, I'm thinking about 40 different things at one time. But I saw a post that said the difference between band now and band then during our time is that we loved band through pain, whereas these kids love band through fun. Do you all feel like that has some merit? Because I know when I got into high school in '98, it was, you know, yeah, it was a lot of other stuff going on through that process. And, you know, the yelling, there's a lot of things that was a lot that, you know, put us in that position. But for us, that was a hype thing. That was like, we got excited for some of that stuff. But these kids don't react that way. They want to have juicy pops and ice cream socials and everything. Yeah, hold hands and hug each other. And for them, that breeds fun for them. So do you all kind of agree with that? And do you all feel like that is now what the shift is, not specifically just through band, but also through the auxiliary?
I think the microwave instant gratification is the key. I don't know how you can have fun when you can't breathe because you didn't have PT. Like to me, the pain is necessary. Do I think that some of the stuff that happened to us was a little over the top? Not happened to, but the reactions. Some people was just a little over the top. But it was what it was. Um, I think now the expectation is that my high school did one drill a year. We didn't run. We didn't do PT. So why is this serious when I get here? Well, that's because it's a business here. When you get to the collegiate level, it is people's jobs to produce a certain product. It is somebody's whole profession to ensure that this band is in the shape required by the university to go out there. So in order to do that, and especially depending on what kind of school you are, in one of these top band programs that's being invited to these competitions, they're doing these things, these exhibitions where the show is 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes. You have to be in shape to do that. If you come from eating cakes and pies and cookies and hamburgers and hot dogs all summer straight to a 15, 10-minute drill, that is detrimental to your health. The physical, the pain gets you to the fun. You cannot have one without the other. It's just not possible. So I think they're thinking about it wrong. It's that instant gratification. I want to get to the fun, but I don't want to do any of this pain stuff. I don't want to work out. I don't want to start at the bottom. That's another subject we ain't really hit. But starting over when these people come from these high schools as the HNIC is a whole issue. That I lose more people to that than the physical pain because you was top dog over here. Now you at the bottom again. Ooh, that's a whole nother thing. But that pain that you go through, that PT, I hated band camp every year. But when I left out of it, my body was, whoo, if I could get it back now. It's necessary for your health and your safety. Otherwise, would nobody get through the end of the field show?
But it also
But
too, like it prepares you for the season. PT is necessary to prepare you for the mental that you're going to go to when you go to games and everything like that, because y'all sitting there passing out during your first game. Why? Because you're not in shape. Or oh man, or y'all get scared because y'all, or you can't blow or play on your instrument or dance, complete a 16 count because you huffing and puffing because you're not in shape. And I think
so,
PT is not the same PT that it was when we marched.
oh no, absolutely not. It wouldn't be nobody in the band.
Yeah.
Everything, that aspect of the marching band, it still happens, but the intensity, the frequency, the expectations, that certain groups lead from the front, like you need to, build up that. None of that is the same
Mm-hmm.
because it's people, parents saying, we had a girl, I think when 19, when I came to the squad, it was a parent that called up to the school. Her daughter was on hot ice and was like, why is she being made to smile so much? Is that necessary?
What? That's part of your uniform.
What?
Yeah.
No, man.
Why is she being made to smile so much?
Yeah.
What was she stand there and look mean, grit her face like she a dancer?
I think
You're
My
even
daughter says her face hurts because she's being made to smile too much throughout the day. And I just don't feel like that's necessary.
in addition to the physical stuff, it's the the pain that came with I don't I mean I guess like the mental perspective of it. Like when I came in, there was a lot of freedom of speech. And the expectation was for the newer dancers, like you have to listen, and like they set the tone and set the pace. And I did give him kind of a hard time because I mean what you're saying is cool, but how you saying it where I'm from, we don't do that like that. So clean that up. Before I was leaving, and I would just like to believe now, you can't say nothing. Like you can't handle anything. Like you can't handle somebody saying, I don't know, like the way you flip your head wasn't right.
You know what they would call that? Hazing. They love that word.
Oh
Hazing.
my God.
They-
Everything was hazing. Everything was hazing. Everything was hazing. Shut up. Ain't nobody hazing you.
Everything is hazing.
They're
I
just
When I marched, and I've never been in the band world, I was traditional cheer. So when I tried out, made the dance squad, cool. Like you said, you coming to me talking to me like that. I'm not that type of. I'm like, oh, I gotta sit here and smile. You sitting there calling me all the names of the world, and I gotta sit there with my at attention, don't move, and smile at you while you sitting there going in on me, and I can't pop you in your mouth. I just gotta, okay, and
y'all was
look
good.
forward and not say a word. But nowadays, I'm telling you, band when I march has equipped me as an adult life of the way I do things now, the way I coach, the way I teach. It made me be like, I'm also TBS, so it's just like, yo, like you got to be on point for your and band equipped that. When we said the band pledge, we meant it for the love of the band because we love the band. Now I don't think the kids love the band. Like y'all just there to be there,
To
but y'all,
have fun. You can't
yeah,
even get to the fun stuff because you won't do the discipline stuff.
no,
Discipline is painful, and
like
you
Yeah.
y'all
you
not
cannot
excited.
survive that to even be the feeling of we just ate that field show up. You don't even get to that point because you won't do what it requires to do the field show.
We
But the
And
were
just
passion
I
gone.
have hold on, Justin, Justice, go ahead. But I do have a question for you, from a coach's perspective of something I've seen this year. But go ahead.
The passion just gone. Cause I know how I was so excited to be on the team. It didn't even matter. Mom didn't know what was going on. So it was just I'm now it's just like I don't think this is for me. I
Because
had
it's
somebody to
not
quit because she saw how high school band camp was for kids that came during high school band camp. She thought our band camp was like that, so she quit the first day because she thought that's what band camp was. We trying to let the high school kids have fun and still enjoy band. We two different programs, two different things going on. So yeah, the passion's gone.
that
absolutely.
he said because we were the small CIAA school or whatever the small MEAC when was in MEAC. And like when we had to go see Norfolk, we were like, we don't our band already was like, we don't care how big this school is. If it was FAMU, it didn't matter who they were, you gonna act like you big body. And it doesn't matter. You gonna out dance them. Now it's like y'all say, passion. Y'all not passionate. Like it was like, yo, I'm ready. Let's get it. Let's go. And after we knew that we killed our field show, it was like we back to the field, we in the stands. Dr. Magruder, FAMU, we didn't leave until the lights came off when we went to FAMU. We was sitting there like, oh, we're gonna be here all night. He didn't care. He drove us. People be like, y'all was gang. We were. We was ganging. I listen. But now I be looking at other bands and I'm like, dang, where y'all passionate? You play
It's
and
not there.
you can hear it through your horn. You can see it in your moves when you dance. You can see it when you twirl your flag. So, a lot of squads, a lot of bands is not there. It's not. Mm-mm.
So I think, and this will play into that. Have you like experienced this season, and it's been coming, um, indecisiveness about whether they want to do this or not? Justice, can you
Mm.
hear me? Did she freeze? Oh, I think she
I
froze. I
know
want
we
to
ain't
ask.
Dang.
So what I've seen is like a lot of indecisiveness. I want to be here, but I don't want to be here. I'm gonna find every excuse in the world to miss band camp. Well, that foundation is necessary, right? Because once the season start, we switching shows every week, and now you behind because the foundation that you should have got in band camp you don't have because you were sick or you needed a mental health break.
I mean, the commitment ain't there from the sounds of it. It might not even be a foundational thing. If you don't come to band camp, you don't want to be here. Like there should what else do we have to talk about if you did not come to band camp? You that shows where your heart is right there. It ain't here.
I just want to know if it's just up here at Norfolk State is that's happening, or is that a worldwide thing?
Well, I don't know where she went. But if she pops back in, then we'll come back to that question. But until then, though, want to move on. It's been a while since I did this, so welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, go ahead and smash this like daddy for these ladies, man. Because I ain't really said a word. I've just been letting them rock, and they just been taking it. So y'all go ahead and smash it for them, man. And also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionate Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. I'm going to shift the gears real quick to get to this last topic. I know we talked about social media, um, and kind of more or less brought up how social media has kind of changed the game. But I want to go back to the social media part for a second because there is something that has been popping up, not only specifically in the band world, but from what I'm hearing, it's even worse in the auxiliary dance line world. And so these groups, um, dance groups, I don't know if they're flag groups or not, but from what I've been hearing, these dance groups are getting out of hand. A lot of the fellas in the groups are being really just downright rude and disrespectful. And just a lot of the things that are being said within the groups are not necessarily conducive to understanding that these are still students at the end of the day. So, are these groups a major thing? Is this really happening? This is just stuff that I've been hearing, and I want to get you all's perspective on it. So, what's up with the groups? Are these things are
What
really
kind of group?
dance dance line groups, critiquing groups, somewhat like the uncut band groups and stuff like that?
Oh,
Yeah, so like Facebook groups that are like dance or HBCU dance specific and stuff like that. Again, these are things that I'm hearing, and I don't know how true they are. And if that's the case, then what's really going on? Is it getting really disrespectful? Is the conversations disrespectful?
I'm not a part of any of those types of
I don't
groups.
know nothing about this.
But I see here's what I would say. I'm not a part of any of those groups, but I see what people put in some of these comments. I don't troll the comments, but I see, some of them depending on, what I'm looking at. So if they'll put that out on a public page, I can't imagine what they'll say in their own silo. So it probably is true. But you know how I feel about those little groups and these people who don't have no credentials weighing in on stuff that they ain't never did before. They only have as much power as we give them.
So if that's the case, and I really appreciate the fact that you said that. So if that's the case, do you feel like through time too much power has been given to them? Because at this
Absolutely.
point, it almost seems like people are validating what people say.
Absolutely.
Now,
People get rid. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying everything people saying isn't a lie, but the way people have been saying, like I'm not in the groups, but I like you said, you see the comments. Some stuff is like okay, like I don't want to talk about nobody uniform, so I'm gonna be quiet. But if they say something about like, oh, that's ugly, that look like an Amazon Shein, yeah, I'll probably agree with it. But then when they say, oh, she got like stuff that hurtful, I don't like stuff like that. I don't like when you try to pinpoint people to against each other. I don't like that. There's certain things where you be like, oh, they could have gone a little harder, stuff like that. That's cool. But there's comments where you just be like, God, dog, like, did you dance? Have you ever danced in your life? You just a groupie. That's what I call them. I call them dancer groupies. That be doing too much or saying
Because
too much.
my thing is, what's the point
Yeah.
of your comment? That
Mm-hmm.
would be my question. What's the point? Is your point to offer some kind of critique? Because I'm saying right now, I don't even look at those comments for real. I see some of them as I'm scrolling, whatever is like under the caption or whatever, but I don't go through the comments. So if you really want to get some feedback to me, you got to contact me. I'm sorry, I'm not even. So what's your goal? Is your
Right.
goal to offer real critique and feedback in order for the squad to improve? Are you just being mean? Because is it even getting to whoever? Like, what's the point of this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
some of that stuff is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to be mean, and some of y'all are grown women, grown men. Why are you in these comments acting a fool like this?
It'd be the men for me,
So
honey.
if you are, we're right talking about women, that's crazy. But to me, what's your goal here? And if your goal is to sit on this internet and be rude and talk about people's somebody's child that way, I just want you to go find a hobby.
And we got Justice back in here. So I know I want you to get back to your question, but you just brought up something. Is it a male issue or is it just a issue?
It's an issue, but it's definitely a male issue. It don't matter if they straight or gay. It's an issue of males. Like it's bad. It's when
I
it's
do I do feel like men go harder on it than women.
yes, yes, they do. And you like, okay, God, no. Yes. If you look on the YouTube channels for the HBCU dance critiques, is men. Is men. It's not really women, it's men.
More often than not.
I
Hmm.
think and it's harsher from men, just from I mean, I don't
Yeah.
keep up with videos or like the comments and stuff like that, but just from my own experience, it would be the males close to us, like close in proximity to us in the organization, like it's something about our hair or it's something about the way this fit or it's something about and it's like you know what the standard is, you know that we do things because we have to do things, and then here you go attacking the dancer for something they don't have any control over. And so I think men make it, the comments and criticism coming from men is so much worse.
It is. They are harsh.
Yeah, yeah.
They're harsh. And you're like, okay.
And I'm
Like,
just saying, as a grown person, it's certain stuff you just shouldn't put on the internet about somebody that's 20 years, 15 years, 10 years younger than you. Like, what's the goal of that?
I mean, and
It's a lot of stuff that I see that I be like, what the hell is going on here? But
if
I
you've
keep that
never
to myself.
been if you've never been in that dancer's position, and men don't, you don't have to okay, so this was a joke with one of our band directors, maybe more, but one of them went hard on wigs and he called them hair hats or something like that, and it's like you don't know what it's like to have natural
Hey
hair.
now, hey now,
Uh-huh.
okay, because you know who that was.
Yes, and
It was me too.
oh well, I never heard you say it.
We
You
used to
were
say it.
wrong, you was out of
We
order
used to say we
because
used to
you
call.
don't have to
Hey,
protect
we
natural
used to
hair.
say, "Take off them hat daddies." We used to say it all the time.
And what are we supposed to do
why?
as a dancer?
No,
What are we supposed to
no.
do?
Let's be very clear. See now this now it's getting personal. It's
No, 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 no. This is no,
no,
no. It is what it is.
no. I'm just saying we never used to say it in the sense of what y'all had to wear for the uniform. We
That
never
hair
said.
is the That hair is a
We
part
will
of the
always be like,
uniform.
hey, when you go around the campus though, take off the hat. You be all right. You know what I'm
But if
saying?
it's no, but
It's
that's okay.
so
So never been in the position. It's not like I can just put this on, dance for the game. Like that thing is sewn on.
and it
It's
comes
not like I can just pop it on and take it off as if I'm going to work every day. Performing in that, you don't know what that's like. Even consider the
All
time of band rehearsals and all of the many little performances in there. We would have a random performance on a random Tuesday. So I'm supposed to find somebody to do my hair and to practice on time and all like it just don't work like that.
let me make sure I clarify that me and his argument was strictly on the fact that we always said, and we still to this day say the same thing. I just got finished talking to him like 2 days ago or a day ago. Is that the beauty of black women is amazing, and you all grow beautiful, natural black hair. And we were just always like, look, take off the hat. Just show your beautiful
Y'all
so
black.
would
you
have had way more to say if that beautiful black woman hair would have went from nice little silk press to looking like a chia pet because I done sweated this
yeah.
whole game
But
and I
we
done
no, we
danced.
only were
Natural
when we were only
hair,
talking about on the personal, not for not for your. If you had to put something in for the game, we never said a word. We were just like, all right, cool.
But we don't get that kind. It's not like we get the luxury of I can just like again, I can't just slap that on. That's a whole process to get the hair washed. Find somebody to do it. Get it braided down. Then we got to get it sewn down to make sure it don't end up next to me while we marching in the stadium on the ground. I got to make sure that it's curled. Like it's
it's
not
a lot
as
of
simple
process.
as. And again, we would pack up and leave from Prairie View to Dallas at 4 a.m. on a Thursday morning. If I just got out of practice at 10 o'clock, how much time do I have to get my hair done?
But we wouldn't say, we
Yeah,
never said
now,
anything during that
not
time.
to mention there was a Pantherland day the Saturday before. Like band life was too busy, and being a student and all the things, like it was too much to have to try to switch your hair back and forth.
I
And
feel bad. You got it bad because you got to keep your hair up, and you got to that hairstyle. If you got to sew in, you got to make sure your sew in is kept. Like you got to make sure that throughout the week during practice, you got to make sure it look good. Y'all talk about being natural. If it was natural, it would be. It ain't.
oh, I can't imagine what the comments would have been.
It couldn't last.
And
It
that
wouldn't
was
last.
also from a male perspective. I don't think
Facts.
you guys knew that, like with our coaches and stuff, it was a standard. We have to look presentable around campus.
Oh
Like
my
when I
god!
came in, it was like, we don't need to see you on campus with your hair not done, with no makeup on. Now, I'm not finna put no makeup on every
No.
day. That's just not what I'm finna do. I'm gonna look very decent and presentable, but it was like, you guys are the black foxes. You need to look like a black fox everywhere you go around this campus.
So let me tell y'all. So I was again, I came from high school, traditional cheerleading, whatever. I was so tomboyish. Like I was a tomboy. Band camp. My sponsor, my coach, she was like, "Yeah, you need to make sure your hair is done when you at band camp." I looked at her like, "What? Your hair needs to be done.
Bad camp.
Go do go do your hair." Then
Yes,
she was like, "Well, when
yes.
you walk around campus, you need to make sure you look presentable. You need to make sure your hair is done. You don't need to be wearing da 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 da." You be like, now they tell us the makeup wasn't a big thing until like now, but like they were like, you need to you lace. You got to make sure you looking presentable like lace. Lace is classy. You're elegant. You do not need to be walking around looking like a boy. And you be like, but I'm a tomboy. Like this. Once I take off my uniform, I'm me. No, you
No.
lace. You are looking. You are representing. So that natural hair that you thought we was gonna walk around with, no, ma'am, no,
You
sir.
have There were auditions middle of the week. And when you audition, you need to look like you are ready to
Ooh, child.
march into a stadium. You need to move and look like this is the field show. These are the stands. I can't roll up on a Wednesday for field show auditions with a puff ball. No. Where's your hair? That's a part
No.
of your uniform.
See, and they y'all things was wigs, and we when I sound older, but when we had the slick down hair pulled back gel spritz sitting on the dryer because Thursday nights or Friday nights that was hair time after practice. I don't know where you in the beauty you in the shop 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning getting that hair fried, dyed, ready to go travel. So you got a ponytail, a big donut, or when it got colder, like when we used to go to Northwood, I had the short hair. You had to have that done. So it was just like we don't have time while the band members are done with practice. We are after practice getting our hair done. So what y'all doing? Y'all in the bed sleep. We sleeping there under the dryer because we had to get our hair done so we could be looking good on Saturday. What y'all doing? Sleep. Y'all got it good. While the bandsmen in their uniforms all warm, we half naked, shivering, shivering,
Freezing.
shivering cold. Them capes didn't help us.
Me and these shimmery tights. What?
What? See through what are you
Oh God. So
men always
y'all
something this
y'all went hard on the hair, but we didn't have a choice but to have the hair. Like
Hey,
we wasn't making it nowhere without the hair.
I mean, like what you got right now, you could have rocked that. We would have been
I,
like, hey.
no, I could not. Like we literally during the summer, our captains would send out, this is how we're wearing our hair this season. Don't have it no longer than 16 inches. Your part need to be on the left side. Like it was very, very, very.
you had to look alike. You had to look alike.
Yes,
You have to look
yes.
alike.
Your
Now,
and your complexion might be different, but
yeah,
if the foxes whip their head this way, every head and every hair need to go the same way. That part needs to be on the same
yeah,
side on every picture. Like it would, our tights were the same color.
yeah.
Like it was that anal. Like I couldn't fox like these.
Let me
Them,
tell
them
you.
shimmery toast daddies or whatever they call.
Uh-huh.
Because we they try to do everybody talk like their skin tone. You could see the chocolate M&Ms, and it doesn't look good. Like it does not look good on the field. Hairstyles had to be alike. They only let us wear different our natural hair at the last game because that was Norfolk, and it was always freezing. It was like you could wear whatever you want to your last game. But no, your hair, you got that part on the left side. Everybody better have a part on the left side. If it's on the right, if you had a look alike, like you're not
You
a.
are not performing if your part is on the wrong side. Like it was that serious.
Me, I guess.
So I don't went through all of this at practice, and now you got something to say. We should have jumped y'all. It was enough of
Hey,
us.
me and my brother stood strong on what we
Y'all
felt.
did. Y'all did.
Hey, at the end of the day, y'all still went out and did what you want to do anyway. So hey, I mean, it what it is. But no, I just was hearing a lot about those groups, and I just wanted to get you all's take on that because I'm from what I'm hearing, it is a big thing that's happening that's really starting to take control and get out of hand. And it's just really interesting to hear that you all are saying that from a male perspective, that's where the most of the comments are coming from, and the level of the negativity of the comment, not specifically the comment itself, but how the comment is addressed. As Apri was saying, is just kind of like that for me is just kind of a shock. I mean, even with the hat daddies, even with that, there's just a level that we there's a line we just wouldn't cross. And kind of what you all are saying is basically people are crossing that line at that point. I don't know. So then that leads me to really kind of ask a question that it's not necessarily deemed towards band or specifically or dance specifically, but do men have? I just gotta say it. Do men have enough respect for women to be able to make the comment without being disrespectful?
I feel like that's a you question.
That ain't a me question because I wouldn't. There are things that I just would never say to any woman,
I think that
except for take off the hat. But that's
that right there. So put that right there. I we know that the intent was a joke or whatever, but in a position to where you don't have a choice or you have to be this thing, it can be received disrespectful. Like, and it's not like, oh, it's just one man on the internet making a comment about whatever. And no, it's not just gay males, it's straight and gay men. But it's not just one comment, it's a bunch of comments. And yeah, I think any comment made without context and understanding is kind of borderline disrespectful.
but again, in all fairness, y'all always knew that from us, it was always out of love. It was always out of love. Yes, we always told y'all.
How'd you know that?
We told y'all that we love y'all enough to let y'all know that as beautiful as you are, that we would just love to see your beautiful black natural growing hair. That was it.
So
So
what did you
for
do
us,
to
so
what did
us, for us, when we were having these conversations with you all, because we would never put that out in like public form either.
what did
We
you
would
do
have these
for?
conversations with y'all like back room.
Because once once it wasn't just back room, or if it was back room, there were other students around. So it's not just band directors saying stuff now it's our peers saying this stuff, and
Who who was saying stuff?
other band members,
I
other
go I go
guys.
find it
It's
right now.
funny because it's funny. Hat daddy, that's funny, and y'all the nature of how y'all joked. It was catchy and it was funny. And that's not the only thing that y'all would say, and it wasn't always on us. So that's not what I'm trying to say. But we picked up a lot of lingo and just words and expressions that y'all would do. So naturally, other people in the band would do and say those kind of things, and so in a position of, and I'm not trying to come at you. I'm talking about just still on the topic of those comments coming from guys. Like, if you can do something to change it, then do something to change it.
I'm so
Otherwise, you're just making comments without context and without fully understanding, and it's disrespectful to the dancer or to the organization.
I would have found that comment disrespectful. Because then I would have been like, so what's your solution? What do you want us to do?
Mm-hmm.
You
But
just
see, if
said
you would have asked that, if you would have asked that question, I would have told you.
you would have said wear your natural black hair. Like you stated this like multiple times already. And I
Yeah.
would have been like, how? In the heat?
So
Our hair
so so if you
But
knew
in
us,
the heat,
if
my
you knew us,
director.
see, this is like super off topic, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If you knew us back then, first of all, well, I mean, we still the same way when we get together. But if you knew us back then, whatever we were saying, we always said it, even if it had truth to it. We always said it in a way that was, like she said, catchy. So so
Does that change it though?
and you would have a lot of people laughed. Like y'all laughed
Who
about
was
it.
laughing? We had no choice but to laugh.
Exactly. See, if you had a problem with it, you would be like, hey, Luke, Brown, look at here.
could she
We
have
got
really
a problem.
said that
We
though
could.
as
Because we
answer?
weren't those kind of band directors. We weren't. We weren't. Be real. We weren't those kind of band directors.
You wouldn't have seen that as a serious thing. Now, would you have?
What
No,
if you said something? If you were like, "Hey, I got an issue with that," you saying I wouldn't have seen that as a serious thing
I
if you
don't.
would have said something?
No, y'all wouldn't have
Yeah, we
because
would have. Like
uh-uh.
if you would have been like, "Yo, real talk, I got a problem with that," but because what we would have did was we would have been like, "All right, so." We would have asked you what was the major issue, and we would because we would have went to the back office and we would have had a conversation about it. We're like, all right, cool.
We gonna let this alone because that ain't true. I think
Cool.
if it was anything other than the hair, then maybe. If it was something more presently personal, then yeah, y'all could have handled that. Like you said something about my weight gain, or you said something about my weight loss, and that hurt my feelings.
And
Then
we never say
we
that
could
though.
have had a serious conversation about it, if it was something like that. But
Right.
about you joking about the hat daddy, no, you're not gonna see it how I see it. Because to you, the wig is funny. To me, I don't have a choice.
But I think that's the difference, right? And again, this is I mean, I don't know if I can compare it, but I mean, I guess if you want to compare it, for me, though the wig is not a funny thing because in essence, I do want to see not just dancers, but I do want to see my beautiful black women wearing more of their natural hair. That has nothing to do, and it wasn't specific to dancers. That was more or less because I think that because, and he as well, feels like because who we are as a people are so unique that our hair only grows a specific way that's not conducive to somebody else's hair. So why not show the beautiful crown that you have? So that's where we were coming from. Now, would you, did we put it across in a way that may have been a joke? Absolutely. But because we're not those kind of people who are going to just beat you down. We always want to try to have fun. We always try to have fun with y'all. So it was never a situation where we were trying to be
Whew.
massively rude and or disrespectful.
But even with that, I think you're missing the natural hair part of it.
Yes,
It's
men
beautiful.
love that natural
No,
hair,
I'm
but
not
they're
As
not
missing
the
that
ones
part.
doing
beautiful as our hair cannot withstand heat and
No, I know.
humidity.
I know that. I know that
So
because
you must not know
my wife is
instead
natural. My wife is natural. So I know that. So, you know,
so you would understand if you're, oh, I don't know.
no, that was me. I cleared it.
So in that regard, you would probably understand that if your wife was dancing and sweating, if her hair started out really pretty, it's not gonna be really pretty 15 minutes in.
But again, see, that's why I said it wasn't necessarily relegated to just you all as dancers. When we have those conversations, those because you all were around, you all were getting most of
Oh
the
no, because we had the hair on. That's why the comments were being
right,
made.
but we wouldn't just say it to you all. Like these conversations we would have with a lot of other black women. Because why? Because it's again, we appreciated the beauty of beautiful black women and natural hair. What would
Oh my
I
god.
don't think that that perspective of seeing my beautiful black queens, oh Lord, I just said that. My beautiful black women as who they are in their natural state a bad thing. As a black man, I don't think that's a bad thing.
And
So
it's
So
what is a natural
so
state?
my thing is again, I don't believe we're having this conversation. But again, I when we had those conversations, while there was truth behind it, again, we never meant to do it in a way that was quote unquote disrespectful or hurtful. Did we understand that you all had your things that you had to do? Absolutely. Do you know why? Because Sean would talk to us about it all the time. They gotta wear that. They gotta do this. And we were like, all right, we get it. You know what I'm saying? We understood that part about it. So yes, we understood.
but you continued the behavior.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Whew.
that
I,
part was.
That's hurtful.
I
That
move,
doesn't make a
we can
person feel
move
good.
on.
Mm.
See,
What
Abri, the
talking that?
thing
How
is,
about you lit a cigarette on the gas can and walked off?
see, the thing is, if you would have known us as directors, you would have known that we have never been those kind of people where we were intentionally trying to hurt.
Right.
Like that was never
I
our
get
goal.
it.
And I
I get
said
it.
I know that wasn't the intent, but
But it's
intention
still
and reality are two different. They don't always align.
and she's facts. That's facts.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because what if I felt that my wig or my weave looked like a helmet and I'm feeling insecure about it now. So
Because they
and you
were
just
not always cute.
listen, I had a scarecrow weave before. I know. So it's just like I'm already trying to feel sexy in something that I know don't look good and you making a joke about it. Although we get the joke, I'm not feeling good right now with this massive thing on top of my head.
Which makes those comments no different from the comments on social media and on the YouTube
I,
videos. That was the
hey,
point. That's
okay,
how
I
it
guess.
started.
Hey,
Yes,
to each their own. I'm not gonna argue with you on that. Hey, it is
because
what
he
it is.
loves seeing his black women in
In their
natural state.
natural state.
Daggone right. My baby
I
girl,
just want to know what the natural state is
both my
because
baby girls
listen,
natural. My wife is natural.
oh,
I'm,
I'm not natural no more. I'm
my
creamy
son is
crack.
natural.
Love.
Absolutely. I went back.
I
Yeah, I know.
my
Yeah, I
haircut is
know.
like yours, so I love your haircut. Natural. I'm not natural no more. Creamy crack went right back in that head, and I love
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Hey, hey, at the end of because we used to always say that at the end of the day, you're gonna make whatever decision you want to make. So
Will.
it is what it is. All right, man. We do have some people backstage waiting to get in. I don't know what happened to Posha. Hopefully she all right. But anyway, let's go ahead and bring Justin in. What's going on, brother? What up? What up? What up? Hey,
You get me?
yeah, we can hear you. I'm gonna tell
Can
you
you
now.
hear me?
This show has gone longer than I expected. I mean, I'm glad it did for the sake of I wanted to make sure that the ladies were able to get everything they needed off their chest, specifically about now with me and the hats.
Oh
But
my God.
but yeah, go ahead, Justin. What you got, man?
Yeah, they was on you about that comment. But I just wanted to say it's interesting getting their perspective about some things that you probably wouldn't even think about. Now, as a videographer myself, I do see everything from comments on YouTube to like the people out there cheering for 'em, making just comments and like just all the bad stuff they say. I see it. That's why like certain negative comments I delete off my channel. I don't care how nobody feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Or like just certain things I don't comment about, especially when it come to women. Man, we all much in the band. I'm gonna talk about your band down. You know what I'm saying? We can argue about that, but anything with the ladies and the auxiliaries, first of all, it just don't look.
Mm, he froze.
Smith. That's probably the second time he's ever done that. He's been on here a bunch of times. That's probably the second time he ever smitted us like that. All right. While he's trying to get his situation together, I'm gonna bring in Chuck. You good, bro? Cause you in here snacking. I don't know what you snacking on, but whatever it is, it must be good. You ready? All right, he good. All right, here we go. What's going on, bro?
Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, man.
All right. I'm just on my way back home from rehearsal. Just wanted to jump in, show some love. Glad to see we've got I mean we've all on the show. You've always had some representation for our you know our auxiliary, and so it's good to see some more on here. So I came in kind of late, so just give me the quick, what was the last kind of topic or question?
Well, the last topic apparently was me having a talking about hair hats and taking off the
Yeah,
hats.
yeah, all right, okay. I did jump on it.
Now,
It's
whatever happened
the
before
comments.
that, whatever happened before that,
Mm,
yeah.
Oh,
it
he
was that
loved
long ago.
his women natural. Hmm.
I agree. But I'll say this: I love it all. You know what I'm saying? I love it all. The natural, the done up, like everything. I looked at my wife the other day. I was like, I ain't seen the blowout in a minute. I love that as well too. So, I get it. But I will say this: since we have auxiliary on here, and I was just reflecting from our first home game at Alabama A&M University. I was thinking, I was like, man, we had so many cameras. Like, I'm over the media team, and so we have a bunch of cameras, but then everybody that's there is recording. So many different angles and everything. And as a veteran band director in secondary education, I would always remind my students, like, our auxiliary dance and flag, they don't have anything in front of them. They don't have anything in front of them. They are the show, and so it's very important to understand. Like, as instrumentalists, we got to be really on point. For our for our auxiliary, but also that's a whole different like set of confidence. In terms of appearance and hair and lashes and just makeup and everything, things that we didn't think about. If I didn't have a haircut before a game, I ain't think about that. I was put my uniform on, put my hat on, and keep it trucking, and keep it pushing. But I think, as instrumentalists, even sometimes band directors, we forget like that element, for our dance and for our flags, and how that is so much of a part of like what you guys do on the day in and day out. So there's gonna be some days that y'all ain't got it together at practice, in terms of appearance, and I get it because while maybe an instrumentalist, let's say call times at like 3 o'clock, we may be able to sleep in a few hours or whatever. That ain't happening for our dancing flag. They up like the call time is at 8 a.m. But what if the call time's at 8 a.m.? They up way early before that and prepping and stuff like that. That's like behind the scenes that a lot of folks, don't see. And so definitely hats off to all of our, what I'm saying, auxiliary and the ladies that put it together. I get it. Sometimes it's funny though. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Well, man, absolutely. I spent a lot of years at PVs seeing seeing different people. One day during rehearsal, it's one person, and then the next day, I'm like, where she come from? She know. But I mean, but you're right though, man. It does take a lot for them to put it together. And again, we were not oblivious of these things, So I want to make sure
We were not oblivious.
I hurt myself. But I want to make sure I do make that very clear. We weren't oblivious. But no, you're absolutely right, bro. And again, I do want to say shouts out to you, and congratulations. Keep the grind going. Um, you know,
Thank
um,
you.
you're in this position and you're in that spot and you're over the media team. So good luck with that. Order some cameras and you know
Yeah.
get the high quality stuff. Don't spare no expense. Uh, you know, So, but no, man, I'm really proud of you, and man, just keep up the good work, bro.
Thank you so much, man. I mean, I definitely that's something that we looking into. I work with a lot of the students that are on the media team. They're mass comm majors, you know, and so we're trying to tie it into their major and
Mm-hmm.
help them with their portfolio and stuff like that. That's the vision that we have, you know. And what I want to see too, I was talking with our divas. Shout out to the divas at A&M, and even our fabulous flag. I would love to see a team get an NIL deal for like makeup and stuff like that. Like that's what I would love to see for dance and flag. And you know, because somebody mentioned you're amazed that you don't see the makeup run and stuff like that. Like I don't know the first thing. My daughter's 14 and she's dibbling dabbling in makeup. That's my wife, her lane with her with that, you know. But I couldn't imagine, you know, I couldn't imagine, you know, all that prep work, you know, and then having to perform as well too. And so, you know, again, you know, shout out to all of our auxiliary. We can't, you know, do what we do without you guys. I was always taught that, you know, band's like a pound cake and our auxiliaries the icing, and it's even better with the icing on top of it. So we want to have all of that, and there's so many eyes on you guys, and it's, I mean, folks that are not even associated with media teams are just in your grill, you know what I'm saying, for just you know, performance and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother level of confidence you guys got to have. So. Again, I appreciate it. Just wanted to come on and show some love. It's very rare that I can get on Wednesdays, and again, just appreciate what y'all doing.
Yeah, man, you in that college time now, bro.
Right, it's about quarter till. Just you know, I saw my kids and my wife in the morning, and then I'm gonna see them when I come back. So that's
I
just what it is.
I
But we
remember those
we
days. I
pushing
remember
forward,
those
pushing
days,
forward.
bro. But all right, man, go ahead, man. Pay attention to the road, bro. I don't, I don't want to be the cause for you, anything happening. I want you to make it home to the wife and the kids, bro. Uh, but it's always great to see you, man.
All right, y'all take care of you. Peace.
All right, bro. Let's bring Justin back in. I think he's good now. There we go. All right, now you good?
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I ain't know what happened, but I was just saying, quick, briefly, like it's just amazing to see, like it come from like these women that, like, some of the stuff that we don't pay attention to, that we don't think twice about, is like their world. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking about the field show, like I just watched them. I would film field shows every week, and I'm like, I just know I couldn't do that, even in the band, like in front of all them people, and expected to like run it as many times as the band run it. It's just not a thing. And like when Shawty said, I'm sorry, I'll call you Shawty. When she said about the photographer said, you ugly, what? Like I would have, if I'd have heard that on the sideline, I'd have probably flashed on him. So I'm sorry that happened to y'all. I also just think that it's messed up, but it's like damn, like they can't create like a feud inside y'all dance room, So inside y'all dance team, and like this past weekend when I was filming the dogs, one of the dogs fell, and I cut it out in my video, what I'm saying. Everybody in the comments, why you didn't post you fall? Why you didn't post you fall? I'm like damn, like I got a million people watch my channel. That what y'all want to see? So it's crazy hearing it from them and seeing it from like what I do as a profession and just seeing like how it play out and you don't even think, what I'm saying? Like it's just wow. I really think that Luke, I don't know how we get talk to Miss Shawn to get them to speak at like these like something like Midwest or the HBCU conference and tell band directors, what I'm saying, some of the stuff that dancers go through besides the obvious of like the makeup and like passing the comment how they may make them feel. I know, just talking to girls in my day, what I'm saying, right now, I get what you're saying about the natural female, but sometimes it's hard to come off as a female who might like makeup. You know what I'm saying? She might know she's pretty without it, but she just like wearing it. You know what I'm saying? So if you tell her, I think you look better without it, who am I to tell her that? You know what I'm saying? And it ain't about what you say, it's sometimes about how the person take it. You know what I'm saying? So I can't take how somebody take a comment that I make. So you just never know these things, and this conversation is good. It's just all I want to say. It just real eye open. Like, damn, I would never thought that. Like, I don't see it that way, but now that they're saying it, it's dope. And once again, when they're on a team, they probably can't voice their opinion without feeling like they're gonna get in trouble. Or you know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel that. When she was saying, I'm like, yeah, Luke, I don't care how cool of a band director is. She probably could have told you, but she couldn't tell that band director. You know what I'm saying? Or she
Man,
probably couldn't tell. I'm serious. You gotta think about it, Luke. Like for real, think about it. I'm imagine a crab though. Ricky, that she feels some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like you think she really about to say, "Oh, that hurt my feelings." You know what I'm saying? I get it. So I was under taking it side. I'm gonna be like, damn, like
We
I
were the
know.
coolest band directors they had. We was laid back. We was super laid back.
They were.
Unless the band really pissed us off. But other than that, we were like, we was chill. She knew she don't let her fool you. She knew we was all just having a good time. And all that. She know.
All right, man. It's a good conversation, y'all. Nice talking to y'all.
All right, bro.
All right.
But to bring that up, man, and all right, Justin, to to go ahead and kind of piggyback on what he said, he's absolutely right. When we do the consortium again, that would be a definite good topic that we can bring up during the consortium, the HBCU Band Directors Consortium, because we did the panel last year. And we really enjoyed it. We had a great time. We were able to discuss some things, but one thing that we didn't bring up at the time was dancers, flags, and auxiliaries, so on and so forth. And so, things like this are definitely conversations that need to be out there, because at the end of the day, now that I'm not in the band director space anymore, the beauty of that is I can have these kind of conversations without having to walk on eggshells. And I'm gonna be honest, and I guess I'm gonna be that guy who's gonna say it. The truth of the matter is that we try to keep too much stuff in house, and sometimes we got to blow the house up. And having some of these conversations outwardly is the thing that's going to be able to create the change and create the conversation, right? Because if everything is just in-house and in-house and in-house, and don't say that, you don't want to mess it. Well, then how do things change? So that to me is the same as when that situation went down at Bethune. If all of that stuff would have been in-house, from the coach that was trying to get hired to him complaining about the campus, they would have never started trying to fix anything. It would have been the same situation that it had been previously, but it wasn't until those conversations were being had that made the president and all these people want to decide, hey, we need to talk about this. This is a problem. Yeah. So, I am going to continue to advocate for the things that are happening in our programs, our HBCU programs, heck, or even our high school programs, because what we do in our HBCU programs trickle down to what happens at the high school. And I was having a conversation not too long ago with someone, and we were definitely talking about the sexualization of dancers now. And if the college program is being this way and the high school emulates the college, what do we think these babies are trying to do?
Yeah.
And so we have to be more mindful of that, and we have to have those conversations. So with that being said, I don't know, we had a full group here, and then and I did get a chance to talk to Justice. Justice signal was just going crazy. So I do want to be able to speak on her behalf and say that she was trying to get back on. She kept trying, but the signal was going crazy. But I do appreciate her being on the show. Again, I really think that what she's doing with her girls is phenomenal. They look great. And so, and I really wish that Portia and her could have had that dialogue when Portia was trying to ask that question. And then again, I don't even know what happened to Portia. Portia just, but it's okay. I'll catch up with her. But what I like to do all the time is I like for people on the panel, if you join me on the panel, to tell everybody where they can find you, what you're doing. Yeah. So I'll start. I guess I'll start to my right. Go ahead, T. You got it. Where can people find you and what you're doing and so on and so forth?
My most active platform is Instagram, and that handle is Powerhouse Lashes by TTB. I know it's long. What I do, I am a lash artist, educator, and mentor. So I'm moving out of the service space and more into educating other beginner lash artists who are trying to start their businesses and walk away from more corporate 9-to-5 jobs and really be able to sustain themselves with with a lash business. So that's my job right now.
Yeah, and I do want to say I'm putting this out here. I'm super proud of you and the space that you have created for yourself. Knowing that you were in one space originally, and moved from that space to what you're doing, and you created something for yourself, and so just glad to see it. I'm happy to see it. Hopefully, I don't know. Is Miss Johnson still in Madison? I don't know. Is she still there?
I don't know. I don't even know who that is.
Brittany Johnson?
Oh yes. She is. I just saw her at the South Dallas Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know because the reason why I asked is I don't know if you still go up there and help, but and if you saw her again, tell her I said hello.
Oh, she
But
will.
yeah, so I'm super proud of you.
Thank
All
you.
right, Apri, where can people find you? What you got going on?
Well, I am on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Timeless Moment 7. Now I don't do no lashes, but I'm a high school teacher. I'm a high school science teacher in North Carolina. I'm also like a cheerleading coach, a track coach, and everything like that. So, yep. If you follow me on social media, you're gonna on my story, you're gonna always see me dancing or recording me listening to music because that's just my personality. So yeah.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
Hi.
I was gonna end with that.
Hi.
I was getting to that next,
I
but
wish
What?
I saw her page. Follow her.
yeah,
Oh, hi.
yeah, we're all first fam in this thing, so.
Yay.
Hey.
Yeah, so absolutely. But yeah, I was going to bring that up, but then you just you
Sorry,
beat
I
you
saw that
really quick.
1908 in the pink and green. I was like, oh my
Yeah, yeah. But
Yes.
no, it was definitely a pleasure having you all on. I tell everybody, man, when we have a great show, great shows like this, you are welcome to come on as many times as you want. All you got to do is, hey, what's the topic today? Go ahead and can I get on? That's all you got to do, and I will let you guys on. It has definitely been a pleasure. I really don't have it. Usually I have a super duper announcement, man. But the only thing I do want to say is we got to start doing better with what we're doing with our auxiliary. We got to start treating our young ladies better. We got to we got to continue to give our color guard a lot more. Our color guard does a lot, and the only time we really want to show them out there, and I know Portia was saying it earlier, the only time that we really want to show them out there is when it's a slow tune. And other than that, we don't want to give them any love, right? But the pageantry that they put on is just amazing, and we have to try to give some more support for that. Also, we also have to parents get out of your children's stuff. When they get to college, let them grow up, okay? And don't helicopter parent because the pre gonna go crazy. All right, leave them alone. All right. I'm just saying, man. But no, this has been super dope. This has been a super great episode, man. If you guys are watching this on playback, you can go ahead and click that like button. Also, click that like button on the way out. I have no problem with that. I hope you do that because that helps the YouTube algorithm. Also, you can go to www.realtalkthattalk.com and get all your Talk That Talk merch. I have nothing else. This has been super dope. We will see you guys on next week.